I guess you guys know what I do. My name is Adam Savage. I host Wootbusters on the Discovery Channel. We've been doing it for 8 years now. We've made 172 hours of the show. So you can now watch it for a full week, 24/7, without a repeat. And the good news is, we've signed up for a few more years. Shill my show. I want to talk about the young Adam Savage. I want to talk about my burgeoning geekdom. And I'd like you to picture me at some point in 1982. Can we throw up that picture? Okay. So somewhere between 1975 and 1985 there, I'm a sophomore in high school, which is a baffling ordeal. And I am leaving school every day at the end of the school day, 2:15 or 2:30, and I'm heading over to Channel 57, a local public access station, to work their video machines and teach adults how to make public access television programs. I'm also putting up quotes on the chyron on the screen because, you know, public access runs like nothing but filler for 20 hours a day. And then afterwards, I'm going to my job as a page at the local library, Warner Library in Tarrytown, New York, where I'm sorting books and secretly sneaking glances at our bodies ourselves. And dreaming that one day. At some point during that summer, 1982-83, the library asked me, they said, you know, we've heard about this thing called Dungeons and Dragons. Doing Dungeons and Dragons, like a library-sponsored D&D session once a week for a few weeks over the summer. Would you be our dungeon master? Okay. So I had all the books. I inculcated myself. I made a fantastic dungeon along with my best friend. And only 2 people showed up besides me and my best friend. And one was this very disturbed kid who chose his character named Rasputin. And the other was this inordinately hot blonde named Angela McFadden. Really inordinately hot. Like, she went to Stuyvesant in the city. She was, like, cultured, and none of us could really concentrate. I don't remember anything about all the sessions we did that summer except that Rasputin died and Angela did not. We concocted this thing for Rasputin that, like, bolted both his feet to the ground and drove a spike right up through him. And he didn't know, but there was no way he was going to get out of it. No dice roll was going to help him. And so that happened over the summer, and then that Christmas, I didn't think much more of it, but went to my sophomore year of high school, and that Christmas, around November, I got a phone call from Angela. First time a girl had ever called me. And she said, I called every Savage in the phone book. I wanted to find you. I thought you were really cool this summer, and I was thinking maybe we could hang out. And I was like, okay. My mom and dad are having a party tonight. You could come on over. And she was like, that sounds great. So she and her mom came over, and my mom was great. She, like, cornered her mom and said, why didn't you show Angela around the house? And I'm showing Angela around the house, and we're walking around, and, you know, this is my room. Yeah, those are my Legos. And we're coming back downstairs, and there's that point at which all you can hear is the in your ears. And I turned to her, and she just plants her face on my face, and we kissed. My first kiss. That's right. My first kiss came directly as a result of Dungeons and Dragons. It was a terrible, terrible kiss. he was one of those pile drivers with a tongue that just went all the way into the back of your skull and swabbed around. And I thought, this is terrible, and yet it's kind of great. My mouth isn't sure, but some other parts of me are really sure this is great. We made out a whole bunch more that summer. Yeah, so yeah, that's my first kiss. What do you want to hear some shit about Jamie? Yeah! Jamie is one... Are there children in the audience? Jamie is one funny motherfucker. We are... not always intentionally, although he has a very, very sick sense of humor. He has a very disturbed, kind of twisted sense of humor. But there's this point at which, a couple of years ago, Billy Bob Thornton had given an interview, and he had was talking about fame and talking about perception versus reality. He was saying, people don't know what it's like. You could be married to the most beautiful woman in the world, and having sex with her could be like fucking the couch. And of course, Perez and the superficial, and everyone was writing about it because Billy Bob said that Angelina Jolie was bad in bed, and no one could believe that that was possible. And so I came into work, and because I'm the one that's usually checking all the Reddit and the dig and the boing boing and the /dot, and I came in with this news. I was like, check it out! Billy Bob Thornton told everyone on my crew, was like, oh, Angelina Jolie is bad in bed, and Jamie's over in the corner. And he tends to stand back when I'm telling a story. He wants to be able to get out if it's not interesting, but if it's funny, he wants to hear it. And this pause happens after I tell the story, and Jamie goes, if my couch looked like Angelina Jolie, I'd fuck it. What? What's so funny? So he's coming out with a line of couches. Some are self-cleaning, some vinyl. Yes. Okay, I have some stuff to show you. We're in the middle of a bunch of new episodes. Our ass is getting kicked by American Idol. So I'm watching it too. And I'm really glad that Tim Urban is no longer on that fucking show. Thank you. But we have a couple of fantastic episodes coming up. This coming Wednesday is the second duct tape special. And then in a couple of weeks we have what I get asked a lot, what's the biggest, the stinkiest, the scariest, the dumbest, etc. And just before we filmed the duct tape special, we filmed an episode called Waterslide Wipeout, which is by far a set of the most frightening things I have ever done for the show. And I'm going to share them with you. You guys familiar with this video? Yes. Let's watch it together for a second. So the moment this video hit the internet, I got word from everybody. Probably half of you sent me the link. And I remember thinking about how to do it, and I realized that the way to do it was, obviously, it's about distance, but it's also about accuracy, and the accuracy is the part that saves your fucking life. And having great commercials where, you know, I made ice cubes bounce into drum heads and then into glasses, accuracy is a real problem, especially for something as, you know, non-uniform as a human body. So I thought this was totally impossible, and that we would likely die if we tried it in this kind of setup, even if we'd sent Buster before us. And so the innovation I came up with was that we should do it on a lake. We should find a lake, and lo, we'd actually used this lake. That's just a beauty shot of my Land Cruiser. We found this lake, which is an old quarry lake, Pit 232 up in Ione, California. It's private property. It's a quarry lake, which is, they dug out of the ground, and when they dug out of the ground, the acidity of where they dug made this pool just slightly acidic so that nothing's living in it, which means you can blow shit up in it all day long. So the episode that we aired recently, Dive to Survive, was filmed in this lake, and luckily over here on the right is about a 25-degree angle, and it was perfect for the water slide. It was about the steepest slope we could find. It went into the lake, we had access all around. And we started trying to replicate the various pieces of this thing. This is looking from the top of the hill, looking down towards the lake. In fact, this is actually a road running across the middle. We had to grab a whole bunch of dirt and fill with, I think, about 40 to 100 cubic yards of dirt to actually fill in that part of the roadbed to make a nice flat spot. And actually, there's nothing... Every now and then, Jamie gets a handle on something that's really thrilling for him. And in this case, it was a bobcat earth mover. And he just spent 2 days just slowly pushing dirt. And then once he had enough, he just rode it up and down, flattening it out, up and down. There's all this camera footage of him going, oh. And then we had enough dirt laid out. And we started laying out the plywood. This is all chipboard. We wanted to, Jamie kept on arguing that we should just like flatten out the dirt, but I'm thinking, you know, we're going to hit 30 miles an hour, according to our math at the bottom. We might want it to be nice and uniform, and if we hit like a little stone, it was going to hurt. So we started laying out plywood, and actually this is another innovation. I'm building the ramp down at the bottom. Jamie has a bunch of guys and a couple hundred sheets of chipboard at the top, and he's actually screwing them together, lapping them together up on top, and then feeding them down like this long plywood tongue, just rolling them down the hill, being pushed by the bobcat. And eventually we meet in the middle like the Transcontinental Railroad, and I secure his wooden slide to my wooden ramp, and we get ready to start laying out. Let's see, what do we got here? There's me sitting at the top at the end of the first day. And we're looking down and going, dude, that is, wow, that's fucked up. And this is some kind of farming bolster filled with hay. And the YouTube video does not have any borders on the ramp. And again, we had to change that. We wanted some guidance on the way down. We didn't want to trust just to Providence that we would make it all the way to the bottom, and it just looked like starting to roll down that hill at 30 miles an hour would be really unpleasant. So then we also laid down some carpet, some inexpensive carpet to also further soften the load. And there's the carpet at the end of the day, my shadow and my hat. And this is what it looks like from the boat we were in. I love the fact that even that big, you can totally tell that that's Jamie standing at the top. like an Egyptian slave master. Looking over. I kept trying to hand him a cat of nine tails during the shoot. He didn't want any part of it. Then we coated it with a 200 feet of lacquered vinyl. This is actually what they use in industrial water slides, and at this point the thing was pretty frickin' slippery. And we kind of slid down it on our stomachs, just really slowly, feeling out for any burrs, any screws, anything proud that would hurt us on the way down. But pretty much, there, that's me at the top, looking down the ramp once it's ready. I'm wearing a 3.2 mil wetsuit, and on top of the wetsuit, I'm wearing latex coveralls, like it's fetish wear, effectively. The only place you could buy this sort of thing, and they cost a fortune, like $350, is from Mr. S. Leather's fetish store in San Francisco. And you'll notice it's got a zipper that starts here and goes all the way down here and comes all the way back up here for access to the cock and balls for sex, as the salesman explained it to me. Which is why, he explained, most people buy these. As if I'm the perv who wanted to slide on the water slide in it. Or like I'm wasting somebody else's latex opportunity on television. So we didn't want to go from the top right away. And the only way the insurance company was going to buy off on this was if we incrementally went a little bit more each time just to see if it was safe. I mean, we didn't know. From the top, we might fly 300 feet through the air and like break our back landing in the water wrong. So we wanted to sort of creep up on this. Here's launch number 1 from, the ramp itself was about 190 feet long. This is about 90 feet up, just about halfway. Nightmare except for mine. And they all were like freaking out. Are you okay? I'm like, I'm okay. It's totally cool. Let's go again. They also didn't have a method for getting onto the ramp. Later on, Jamie came up with the idea of stringing a rope down from the top so you just hold on to it and let yourself go. Until then, I was literally pouring a little soapy water and then leaped on and tried to stay on all the way down. Not the best methodology, which is shown by the next jump, where I went a little bit higher, and then we were having a lot of arguments back and forth about how much soapy water to use. In the video, they dumped 2 full 5-gallon buckets of water on the ramp and slide down. So I wanted to give a working try. I thought this would be the best way to do it. So I dumped a little water on the ramp. There's me about halfway up. I'm actually spraying myself down with soapy water just to get the extra slick factor. And I pour the water on, and then I jump on, and I start to slide down. Everything's going well for a while until I part my legs and soapy water begins to shoot. You can see it hasn't bounced out here. This is just water, and it's shooting through my legs and into my face and my mouth. I can't see a thing. It's really unpleasant, and I come off not so well. I land on my ass, it hurts. And I'll tell you about landing in the water. I flew about 40 feet at this point. Landing in the water from 40 feet away, it's a shock, and it's an instant headache. It's like you come out of the water and immediately you feel like you're hungover, like a really bad hangover. Here's another view of that very jump. Is my new favorite toy. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes. It records HD for like 5 hours, and it comes in a waterproof case, and they're about $350. They are awesome. We've got, I think, 4 of them now. I have one problem with the thing. It's waterproof, and yet it doesn't fucking float. I don't know how the amount of mass you need to add to make it floatable is just tiny. How did that happen? So, and you'll see later, I'll show you a little footage of Jamie jumping, and the camera came off his head, filmed him, and then filmed blue, and then you can see the ground coming, and then it goes to black, and then if you watch the whole thing, which I did, you can hear Don, our shop general, in scuba gear coming to get it. And the anticipation is, you're like, oh, come on, Don, find it! Then you see it pick up, and you see Don's armpit, swims to the surface, comes out in the water, hands it to Willie. Willie's like, oh, you found it, dude! Here's another view of the same jump. I submit, however, that the amount of stunt training I've done has actually taught me some pretty good sort of root principles of movement and danger. And I want to demonstrate that I think actually, while that looks like a terrible jump, I actually did as good as I could under the circumstances. And here's the tracking high-speed shot of that same jump. I come off spinning counterclockwise. I can't see, my mouth is full of soap, I'm very unhappy, and everything goes akimbo. But I'm in midair and I remember to get my feet together and get my hands down to my sides. But I didn't realize that when you're flying through the air, you totally still know which way is up. You can totally still feel gravity, and I can feel that I am rolling towards the back flop to end all back flop. So I'm sitting up against the force of gravity to lessen that. And I consider that a perfect landing. Now I'm feeling pretty good. It's time to go from the top. It did. So this is me from the top, spraying myself down. At this point, we're now only using Hudson sprayers, or bug sprayers, and spraying basically soap solution on just a layer of soap solution just before I go. The least amount of water possible. And, I'll be able, hopefully, to see all the way down. This is Nick, our stunt guy, our stunt coordinator, who walked us through the incremental jumps. He stood at the bottom of the ramp and filmed this. I love this shot. This was my best jump. My form, it doesn't get any better than that. I'll say that, actually, once we finished grabbing, we filmed on this location for 2 days, and then we left 4 of our crew members on the final day to wrap it up and put it away. And we said, we had safety guys and EMTs and stuff coordinators and told them, we're like, don't slide down that slide. Because there's no workman's comp if you get injured, and you've been expressly forbidden from, so they all slid down the slide. Willie, the skateboarder, his name is actually Will Nail. I keep thinking that every time he goes out with somebody and sleeps with him, he should say, "You got nailed!" He laughs indulgently. Willie even tried it a couple of times. All the guys tried it. They all said it was absolutely freaking terrifying, and nobody could match my form. So here's that jump. Which is you land in the water and you do the scuba diving thing. I'm okay, you say, and I do this, I'm okay. And Nick, the stunt coordinator on the shore, at this point 72 feet from me, goes, "Fucking A, you're okay, man, that was beautiful!" So I'm feeling pretty good. Here's actually me feeling pretty good. Having my microphone changed out by Maddie, my sound guy. We had to do 3 more jumps after that jump. That was the is it possible to fly 100 and some odd feet through the air jumps. But then we wanted to know about accuracy. And to do accuracy, I needed to do 2 jumps to find out roughly where I'd land. And then we wanted to place a target, hopefully that I would hit. So those 2 jumps, I was actually doing them the following morning. And I came in feeling a little cocky. And quite honestly, I didn't slide backwards, but metaphorically, I was sliding backwards. Here's the first jump. Instant headache. Have I mentioned that the water is freaking bone-ass cold, too? The water's like 45 degrees, so in addition to the terror and the instant headache, you were like freezing cold. Oh, and I'll add that the boat that had been donated to us by a fan had its motor break for the 20th fucking time. And the only motor we had for this boat, for the camera crew that was in the water filming me, was like this little putt-putt inflatable boat motor. And Gene was like, "Well, it works just fine. It moves the boat, doesn't it?" But it moves it like this fast. So I'm in the water, and the boat's moving I can't tell if it's moving towards me. I don't know if they want me to go to the shore, or I have to wait there in the freezing cold water with my instant headache, and I feel really shitty. And I yell, "Do you want me to go to shore?" And instead of going like, "Yes," or "No," they go, because, I have hearing aids. I have a congenital condition, not from the explosions. And I can't hear very well. In the water, it's I have earplugs, and it was just terrible. So you're feeling really shitty, you're hurting, you have an instant headache, and I have to trudge back to the top of the hill and do the second jump. Here's another view of that first jump. That's what it looks like.
3, 2, 1, go!
That's the sound. You hear me go, boom, boom, okay. Here's another one. I want you to notice, as I show you this shot, I don't know what he's doing or what he's eating, Wheaties for breakfast, but Jamie's jump looks fucking huge in this one. And he's got like tiny, tiny feet, so good busted. Look at that! Final jump. Jamie flies through the air without making any noise. It's just not inherently as funny or as hilarious as so it's time to take the final slide. And again, this is now after lunch. We've done the 2 slides before lunch. Jamie jumped a couple times, and then it's time for me to slide. And I still feel like crap. I've taken a bunch of ibuprofen. I've got a headache. I'm still not happy about this. And this is what the target that I'm going to hit looks like. Actually, sorry. That's what the target looks like. Alright, I've got to hit that. And Nick is our stunt coordinator. Now Nick and his wife Angie are the guys that actually help us talk to the insurance companies. He's a former stunt coordinator, she's a production coordinator, actually still current stunt coordinator. They know their business really well. The former 2 shows they did this for were Jackass. They actually did some safety in Jackass, who knew? I probably was more like a lot of this. And Fear Factor. So they have a lot of experience explaining fucked up shit to insurance adjusters and making them okay about it. And over the years, actually, you remember early on we did the episode of the awning fall, where the insurance company wouldn't allow me to fall through the awnings, but they would allow Tori. And this is a thing that we have, you know, I'm an asset to a large corporation, and when you use the word stunt on a form, this word stunt is a term of art that means it carries with it a certain amount of acceptable risk. And there is, you know, for Discovery, not a lot of acceptable risk with its assets, me and Jamie. But over the years that we've been getting trained to do stunt driving and jumping off buildings and stuff like that, we get a little more latitude as we go. And Nick is one of the reasons we get that latitude. Nick comes up, gives us a training session, or sends one of his guys up, and they come back and they say, those guys, you know, they got it down, they know their stuff. The insurance company gives us a little more freedom the next time. It's a really nice thing. Nick comes up to the top of the hill, and I'm standing there in my latex, which is also really uncomfortable, and like can't move very well. And he goes, do I need to tell you anything? No, I've got a question for you though. Are you a fucking stuntman or what? Because that's what I tell everyone, dude. I tell him, he's like a surfer. He's like this blonde LA surfer. Because that's what I tell everyone, dude. I tell him Adam's my boy. He's my fucking stuntman. He can do anything we can do. The only question you want to ask yourself, buddy, is when you land, you want to ask yourself, does my director want another? You want to please your director, fuck your headache. He says, all the work happens in here, man, before you leave. Don't be too relaxed, don't be too tense. You know what to do, I'll see you at the bottom. Really, absolutely said that. Pep talk from Nick. And here's the final launch. This is shot by our second camera, Scott Sorensen, who's just unbelievably good, doing 1,000 frames per second, tracking me perfectly in the middle of the frame the whole way down. This is shot with a Phantom camera that shot most of the Hurt Locker's explosions as well. So I'm coming down, my form is really good, I'm nicely relaxed, my head goes down, I come off the ramp, it's a thing of beauty. I can tell that it's going really well, my arms come out of my sides, and while it seems like when you're flying through the air to be really kind of an instantaneous process, it is also does seem to last forever. Like I remember flying through the air for what seemed like an inordinately long period of time. Thinking, this is so crazy, fucking cool and awesome. And I have to tell you, sorry, pause. I cannot show you how the episode ends. Bear with me. I know it's a terrible tease and a cold shower, but I cannot show you how the episode ends. It's fucking awesome. I can't show you how it ends. So, in lieu of that, I'm going to show you probably one of my least dignified moments ever on television. The drunken treadmill run. Now, this was a series of myths about sobering up. We wanted to do, can you smack someone to sober them up? Yes. Does exercise help? Well, this is what we're testing. And also, black coffee doesn't seem to help very much at all. And it's disgusting when you're really drunk. And honestly, at this point, it's about 2 in the afternoon. Jamie and I have both had, I think, 6 or 8 scotches. Actually, I think Jamie liked the vodka cranberry, and I was going for the single malt. He likes an inordinately girly drink. He's all like, I'll have a Negroni. Do you happen to make a mudslide here? It's a study in contradiction, that man. So I'm running on this treadmill. There we go. I'm running on this treadmill, and I'm feeling pretty good about running on the treadmill. I'm running at about 8 miles an hour, which is a pretty good clip. And I look towards the camera, my cameraman Heapy. You develop a really good relationship with your cameraman. They know what you're thinking. You can see what they're doing. You guys can anticipate each other. And I turn towards Heapy, and I'm like running, and I'm thinking, I got this shit wired. I'm funny on fucking television, man. Check this out. And that's when I lose my rhythm a little bit. So I keep on going, but the swinging rhythm of my arms starts to get a little out of whack. And right here is where I step on both the moving and non-moving parts of the treadmill, which anyone who owns a treadmill will tell you is no good. But I persevere. I have some pretty good balance, and now it's going really haywire, so I get my foot on the ground. But that's not good enough for me. I could call it here, but I think, fuck it, I can keep on going, man. So I jump right back up. And this is where it goes fun. I want you to notice that Jamie has not moved at all. Probably okay, so I pretend that he cares that I might not be. Standing there with his stopwatch going, you gonna get up or you gonna keep going? You gotta do 5 minutes, that was only 40 seconds. I'm just saying, I mean, we're waiting. It's lunchtime. What? And then as the final indignity, the treadmill itself rejects me and throws me into the green screen. I broke my watch and my wrist hurt for 6 months. That's what it's like being a Mythbuster. Thank